Are you thinking what I'm thinking? These kinda look like gears. I know! I went and got two options. Smaller, cheaper, locally produced, and slightly larger Italian. The cheaper ones look much more dimensionally consistent, so I'll go with these ones. Sorry, other pasta. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm building a sort of a display. I'm trying to select a few better ones in terms of outer diameter, because that's the most important factor. They should at least have the same number of teeth or ridges, since they are formed by the same machine, so I'm not even going to count up to 16. I'm going to use one of these dirt cheap tiny steppers. They have a reduction gear, so it's slow but quite torquey. A very non-fun fact about that ULN2003 stepper motor driver is the order of pins in your Arduino sketch. Just FYI. To control the stepper I used my trusty D1 Mini. It's slowly dawning on me now that it's not gonna work. Options at this point. Find better pasta. The issue that I have seems to come from the method of production of pasta, and the uniformity is probably not the main KPI for the factory. Fix the pasta. For this I have two ideas. Grind them down to perfect cylinder, soften them and then dry them back in a sort of a mold. Cut away the ends where most of the distortion seems to happen. The third one is definitely the easiest right now, so I'm gonna maybe gain some hope back. I want to test if the good part of the penne is good enough to transmit the rotation further. Honey, guess what's for dinner? Pasta butts! They look very small and not too much like penne anymore, but I'll worry about that later. Right now I just want to see them spinning. All of them. Please spin. They kinda do, so I'll need more. Many more, so I switched to power tools. Did you ever cut pasta with an angular grinder? Stop lecturing me, you're not my real mom. I'm gonna need a bit of tension to force them into engaging, so the plan is to use two soft springs. This is the two rows design. Do you see the middle piece hanging there in midair? That's because I plan to print this using the technique detailed in my previous video. Check that out too if you haven't seen it. Long story short, I'll add the transparent acrylic panels as it prints, ending up with one solid piece. No need to further assemble or glue. And there it is, all in one piece. The middle divider is fixed on one of the sides due to the nature of the technique, but that will be more than enough. Besides, if I were to assemble this, there would be no way that I could perfectly center that in place. Good stuff, I added a tensioner, testing one row for now. And I don't like that sound. They're not really moving. Remolding them also doesn't seem to work. I'm giving up on this approach. It was supposed to work like this. Great in theory, but the real pasta are more like this, to put it lightly. So, time to drastically step up my game here. I introduce you to the cannelloni. Another option would have been manicotti, which are basically penne rigate for giants, but couldn't find any. Manicotti, not giants. Cannelloni are smooth though, so real gears. The trickiest part now was designing stands for the pasta tubes that would accept irregularities but not force them into cracking. This is the final design. I settled for 8 cannelloni that will spin in alternating directions. Let me assemble that base real quick. I added felt feet, you can find these at IKEA, pretty handy. a button here in the front. There's a small tactile push button in there. I think I'll reuse this button design because it worked perfectly. The code is not too complicated. I set it up so that on each button press it will display the next out of 3 graphics, all in a loop. But the thing is that my family is now seeing me play with pasta, and I was trying to convince them that this YouTube thing is a real job for grown-ups. That's why I need the help of today's sponsor, PCBWay, because they make it more sustainable. Not to mention the possibilities they open up with all the production methods that they just zero stress execute for us, the makers. I don't want to learn how to operate a sheet metal bending machine, let alone buy one of those. CNC machining, PCB manufacturing, I mean, I wish I had all these in my workshop, but I don't. PCBWay do have them on the other hand, and they also know how to use them. They do a pretty good job, so try them out. I need a better way to add graphics to my cannelloni than hand painting. Brand new sentence, I know. Well, after voicing this problem, a friend invited me to his very professional workshop to use their laser engraver that also has a rotary attachment. So then I need to project my graphics to a cylinder. How do I do that? I love a good mathematical challenge, but I never got into trigonometry. Who else sucks at math? I know, ChatGPT, I'll ask them. Great idea. After half a day trying all their models, I had an Illustrator script that did not really what I wanted. I steered it in the right direction a couple of times, but in the end there was no more saving. When it gets in a rut, it's stuck. So I sat down and worked the math myself, oiling this machine with elbow grease. Now at least I know what I'm coding. So close but still wrong. I was losing my mind at this point. Turns out that regardless of having millimeters set up in my document, Illustrator still assumes everything in the script is in points. After adding the conversion, finally it works. Next day, I got there. We couldn't stabilize the brittle pasta in the rotary thingy, so all that work gets binned. Instead, we engraved one side at a time, which comes with focusing issues and even starts touching at some point due to unequal heights. But a very interesting result, I must say. Kinda subtle though, not entirely happy. Anyway, at this point, I'm heavily rethinking my life choices because this project has been a long string of failures. And then I also came across this video.
Do you ever get so fixated on an idea that you just entirely neglect to consider if it still or ever even was relevant to what you were actually trying to achieve?
And it's right, what am I even doing? Never mind, I think I figured out an easy way to paint them, and it's been in front of my eyes the whole time. 3D printing for the win! I'm building some stencils for spray painting. Yay! Happy end! I also don't like being told what to do, but let me tell you this. If you stay till now, then you should definitely subscribe, because the next project will be kinda big. So, see you in that one. See you in that one. Catch you in the next one. Catch you in the next one.